I was just about ready to start trial in another week, and the defense lawyer made a request to the judge to shut down my website. You want to learn what this is all about? Come join me for a moment as I share with you some great information. Hi, I'm Jerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney. All right, this goes back a number of years at the very beginning of the internet. At that time, this was all new. Videos were unheard of. But lawyers were starting to put up content. They were starting to put up articles on their website. And now, as we were approaching trial on this medical malpractice anesthesia case, where my client suffered significant harm and injury because of an anesthesiologist's error. Now, what happened? As we were approaching trial, the defense made a special request to the judge and said, "Judge, because of what I found on Mr. Oginski's website, I want you to shut down his entire website so that jurors will never get the chance to see what's on there." And I flipped out. I'm thinking, what is wrong with this lawyer? He clearly doesn't understand how the internet works. He doesn't understand why attorneys put great content on their websites. Remember, this is the very beginning of when the internet just started to come out. And now, he had no idea what was going on. And importantly, the judge didn't really understand it. So remember, this is in the old days. We had recently started up with the internet. Most lawyers' websites were just a couple of static pages that talked about their credentials and how great they were, that said, "Hey, look at me, look at how great I am." So what happened then? What happened now is that the judge seriously was considering shutting down my website. And I'm thinking, how is this possible? How could he possibly want to do this? And I'll tell you why. For two reasons. One is that the judge wanted to make law and make the front page of the New York Law Journal, which is the law journal that all the lawyers followed at that time. Second, he wanted to establish a precedent, which means he wanted to make law. So that's really just one reason. Actually, no, he wanted to get noticed by everybody in the legal community that he was creating this law. And two, he wanted to set this law so that now everybody who came before him and everybody in New York State would recognize this is what has to happen. So if you come into court and you post something about that type of case on your website, you're going to have to shut down your website. And I said to the judge during oral argument, I said, "Judge, if you shut down my website, you're going to have to shut down the defense lawyer's website. And then you're going to have to shut down all the other law-related sites where my article concerning this topic has now been posted." That's impossible to do. We have no control over any of those other sites. They are there to dispense and distribute content. And the judge didn't understand it, which was amazing. So what did he do? The judge says, "You know what? I'm going to consider this." And he told us privately that there was a very good likelihood he was going to allow the defense lawyer to go ahead and shut down my site. Mechanically, that's not how it would work, but he was going to agree with the defense lawyer until our case was over, because he didn't want the jury to go ahead, go online, do a search, and then come across the information on my site about this type of topic. I freaked out. And up until then, I had had a pretty good relationship with the defense lawyer, a good working relationship. And I told him afterwards, after a couple of days, because, by the way, the judge decided, you know what? Since I need time to do research on this, I need time to evaluate, so we're going to push this trial back a couple of weeks. In the interim, I called my opponent up. I said, "Listen, this is horrible. I can't believe you did this. And you did this without even telling me first." I said, "If the judge comes down and goes ahead and agrees with you and tries to shut down my website, not only will I appeal it, but I will never, ever settle this case with you." I said, "You now have a window of opportunity. You've got a very limited time, whether it was a day or two that I told him, in which to call the insurance company to see whether or not they're willing to try and settle this case now before getting a decision from the judge about what to do regarding my website and before starting trial." And you know what happened? The defense went back, spoke to his insurance company, and within a couple of days he called me up. He said, "Listen, we have a settlement offer." I talked to my client, and after some negotiation, we were able to settle this case before the judge actually came out with a decision and before we actually went to trial. So why do I share this with you? I share this with you because at the very beginning of the internet, there was no social media yet. There were only attorney websites, and they were very bare-boned. And there was no video on these sites either. People were just starting to put up frequently asked questions and articles about different topics. And at that time, I was learning how to put up educational information for people who were searching for information, to teach them and educate them about how these types of cases work. But the defense attorney got wind of it. He searched, found information that was similar to what we were going to be trying, and then tried to shut me down. That was terrible. That was disrespectful. And he clearly had no idea what this was about. You know, I realize you have questions or concerns about your own matter. Well, if your matter did happen in New York, and you have not yet started a lawsuit, and are thinking about bringing a case, but still have questions that need to be answered, what I invite you to do is pick up the phone and call me. You know, I answer questions just like yours every single day, and I'd love to talk to you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207, or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a wonderful day.